focus on the arts of Asia. So pagkukulangin na yung time, wag na lang muna doon sa output nung ipapasok na lang yung sa near Eastern countries, nakatabi ng Asian countries. So, pag wala na talagang time, and i-collect na lang muna yung mga artworks ng mga bata. And anyway, sa output sa last quarter, sa fourth quarter, pwede naman natin isabay doon ng art exhibit. Parang it's ano na siya, yung total package na kung saan ang tao, ang audience natin manunood ng output ng performance, and at the same time may other venues naman sila for learning doon sa exhibit na gagawin. Okay? So, thank you.
Okay, ako po may question sa group 3. Pinili po nila yung content standard number 1, which says demonstrates understanding of art elements and processes by synthesizing and applying prior knowledge and skills. And then for your performance standards, you chose standard number 1, yung creates an artwork pa rin po. Now, if you are supposed to create, you want the students to create artworks of the different regions of Central, South, and Near East Asian countries, paano po nila ito nagagawa kung hindi po nila naiintindihan yung features of these regions? Opo. Yung process po, nandun na po. I-understand po nila. But then you chose standard number 1. Hindi po ba mas kailangan, mas power standard po yung kailangan maintindihan nila yung salient features or elements of that artwork from these Asian regions? Opo, para po ma-identify nila na they may be able to do this artwork, different artworks, but how will they know that these are artworks from the Central, South, and Near East Asian countries? Actually, Near East Asian countries have been changed to West Asia. Bago na daw po yung term, according to the government. West Asia na daw po. Opo. Manasagot po ba ng group 3? Ano po ang inyong... Yes. Can group 3 answer the question? Ulitin po natin, yung power standards po, these are the non-negotiables. Hindi po pwedeng hindi matutunan ng mga bata. Kaya kunyari po, hindi po na ituro ni teacher, kaya po niya yung basahin sa kanyang LM. Kaya po niya magawa. Yung artworks, actually, tama po yun. Artworks, kapag hindi po naturo ni teacher kung paano gawin yung artwork, kung magaling po siyang sumunod sa instructions ng LMs, nandun na po yung instructions. Kaya niya pong gawin mag-isa yun. Opo. Tama po yung power standard natin na una. Yung creates an artwork. Tama po yun. Sa content lang po, alin po dun sa dalawa yung mas importante? For you. Sa arts po. Ay, number 2 na lang. Kailangan alam po natin kung bakit po yun yung mas power standards. Kasi pagdating po natin sa field, syempre kung tanongin nila, ma'am, bakit yung paraan ng paggawa, hindi ba yun kaya matutunan ng bata mag-isa? Yun, syempre may mga ganong tanong po. Dapat po alam natin bakit yun yung kailangan na power standard.
Eh, kasi kanina ma'am, yung pinagtatalunan namin dito, itong sa pangalawa, sa content standards. Kasi ang nakalagay dito is demonstrates understanding of the salient features of the arts of Central South by correlating the art elements and processes among culturally diverse Central, South, and Near East Asian countries kasi. So, sabi ko kanina sa kanila, if wala ng time, tanggalin na lang natin yung Near East Asian countries. Eh, hindi naman sinabi kasi nag-change na ito, West Asian countries. O yun. So, at least kung alam na ganon, hindi. So, ano man. Tama naman yung isa namin. Naglabis ka. Tama naman yung sa performance standards. Okay. O, buto-buto muna. At least alam natin. Diba? O, number 2 na lang. O, oh, tingin. Number 2. O, you accept your errors. Number 2 lang. Thank you.
Madali lang po yan eh. Taas niyo po yung kamay niyo ng ganito kung okay sa inyo yun. Okay po ba? O tama po ba yung kanilang piniling content standard ngayon? Tama po? Okay. So same goes din po with the other for 2 quarters. Yung second content standard po, yung kailangan natin maituro sa mga bata. Or at least kaya po ng mga batang aralin on their own by reading the LMs. Opo. Quarter 4 po, ito po yung naiiba natin quarter tungkol sa festivals and theater. Opo, let's see, ano po kaya yung performance standard na kailangan, or power standard and content na kailangan talaga.
Okay po. So, para sa amin po, sa group 4, so nasa 4th quarter po kami ng March. So, yung power standard po namin, una is the elements of sound, music, gesture, movements, and costume. Then, para naman po sa festival, yung Japan Kodo Taiko, kasi although marami po tayong festival, so yun po yung nakikita namin pinaka-importante sa lahat. Then, in a form of theater naman po is Japan Kabuki. So, based po doon sa 4 na countries, Japan, China, Indonesia, and Thailand. So, napili po namin yung Japan. Kasi po, meron po siyang 3 indigenous theater. So, yung No, Kabuki, Bunraku. So, pag sinabi po natin Bunraku, that is puppet show. So, although yung Indonesia, saka po yung Thailand, pareho din po siyang may puppet show, nagkaiba-iba lang po sila kasi yung wayang kulit, 2-dimensional from Indonesia, tapos sa Thailand din, ayun na. So, puppet show din po siya, flat puppet. Then, from Japan naman po, yung Bunraku, na 3-dimensional po siya. Pareho pong puppet show, pati po sa theater, ganun din. Sa Japan po, they have the Kabuki, sa China, the Peking Opera. Thank you.
Wow, moral support ng group talaga. Okay, thank you. So you chose Japan because of these things. Agree po ba tayo? If in case po kailangan po yung mga bata lang po mismo ang mag-aaral yung part na yun, yun lang po yung i-assign natin, Japan. Or would you rather choose either China, or Korea, or Indonesia, or Thailand, or Vietnam? Maybe you can make some innovation by dividing the group. So the other group will learn about Japan. Okay, so yung ginawa natin kanina, it's a very good example. Yung ginawa natin activity na prior to. Okay, so I'm suggesting that to meet the performance standard of that quarter, maybe we could divide your class into different countries so that they can perform as well. Okay, next, we will move on to music. Quarter 1 po tayo ulit. By quarter po kasi po we're trying to write down your suggestions.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nandito na naman ako sa harap ninyo. Okay. The assigned unit is Unit 1, which is about Southeast Asian music. So in choosing the power standards, you have to see to it that everything must be hidden. Kumbaga, in one standard, kaya niyang tirahin ang lahat ng nilalaman ng isang unit. Okay, so we choose number 2, demonstrate understanding of the salient features of Southeast Asian music by correlating musical elements and process to our native forms. In that way, a teacher should start with the musical elements. Kasi pag ma-identify yung musical elements, madali na lang pong i-identify yung mga features or the distinctive characteristics of each country in Southeast Asia. And then, madali na lang din po siyang i-compare doon sa native forms na meron po tayo sa Philippines. Because you started it with elements and then you identified the features of each country, and then madali na lang siyang i-compare kung anong meron tayo sa Pilipinas. At isipin din mo natin na hindi lang puro kantahan ng music. Music has many learning areas. It's not always singing. You can create, it is in your learning guide, nandiyan po siya. You can create, you can perform. Okay. So in our performance standard, isa lang po yung performance standard na meron tayo dyan. It says here that performs examples of Southeast Asian music alone with others in appropriate tone, pitch, rhythm, expression, and style. Yan na po yung part na kung saan magtuturo na po tayo kung ano ang meron, mga awitin ba, o mga tugtugin na matatagpuan po sa bawat bansa na nasa Timog Silangang Asya. So in that way, na-hit mo na yung mark mo, yung content andun na, so the students now can perform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Well said po. Agree po tayo sa kanilang pinili na content standard. Similar po ba quarter 2 and 3? Do we have similar answers or explanations for quarter 2 and 3? Hindi po. Sige po, pakingsip.
Annyeonghaseyo. Ano po, sa quarter 2 kasi is Asian music. So ito lang yung para sa amin is non-negotiable. Listen to selected songs from East Asia with the group, not alone. Correlates East Asian music to the lives of the people and explain the distinguishing characteristics of representative ganon and which will eventually develop musical awareness. Dahil nga po, di ba kulang yung oras, among the 3 countries, pumili kami isa lang. Ang pinili po namin is Korea. Kasi yung mga kabataan ngayon natin, as we all know, nahihilig sila sa mga Korean movies, Korean novela, tsaka K-pop. Ayun, fashion, di ba? So, mas timely po yun pag yun ang pinag-aralan natin. So, yun lang po. Kamsahamnida.
Kamsahamnida, ma'am. Okay. Kamsahamnida is thank you. Okay. Acha. Okay. So, tama po yun. Tama naman po, pwede po natin gawin yun. We choose one country kung talaga po sobrang kulang. Pero po, kailangan pa rin po, ibabalik pa rin po natin, i-relate natin yung culture nila sa culture natin. So po kakalimutan yun. Lagi po, i-relate. Opo. So quarter 3, meron po bang napiling bagong standard?
Actually, we have, oo nga eh, walang mapagpilian daw. Okay. We were discussing actually in our group because we were surprised with the presentation of other quarters, especially in the art group, that you focus more on the content standards. where we could not actually sacrifice the content standard, but on our part, we sacrifice some of the learning competencies in as much as the third quarter will cover, will start in November, and then magti-Christmas break yan, tapos pagbalik ng mga bata, second week of January will be the periodical test. So it's really impossible for our students, and the teacher in particular, to cover the content and the topics to be covered in third quarter. In our discussion, we identified and enumerated first what are the power standards that we consider. In our first run of the consideration of power standards, we were able to come up with, out of 9, we were able to come up with 7. And then after some deliberation, we were able to come up with, arrive at 5 power standards. And the power standards were lifted, we lifted them from the learning competencies. Okay? So number 1 is listens to songs from Central Asia. This is number 1 power standard. Number 2 is we still preserve the number 2 standard, which is correlates Central Asia, music to the lives of the people. Number 3, we deleted number 3 because number 3 and 4 is somewhat related, and number 4 is a much higher level of competency, and so we preserve number 4 and we sacrifice number 3 instead. Okay? And then number 5, we consider number 5 as an impossible and unrealistic, because if we are to ask our students to make what's that? Perform on available instruments from Central Asia, medyo mahirapan yung mga estudyante natin, baka ma-frustrate din yung teacher na hindi makapag-produce yung bata ng at least authentic man lang or kahawig ng instrumento. So, we disregarded it. Number 7, we did not also include that because it is already innate in learning competency number 4. We also deleted number 8 because it is related to number 6 competency, but we did not, we included and we did not sacrifice the last learning competency, which is evaluation of music and music performance. At dahil we think pala that this is the most essential learning competency that we cannot sacrifice. Yung lahat ng standards, ma'am, yun pa rin po. We are also to cover all the countries.
So if possible lang po yun, sir. Kaya po Central Asia lang yung binabanggit niya. Hindi po kasama si South and West. Tama po ba? Opo. So yun po yung pinili nila. Bakit po Central Asia yung mas pinili niyo? Tama po, yun lang po yung binabanggit niya kanina. Central lang po, hindi po yung South. Tsaka hindi po yung... Opo. Hindi mo lang binasa. Okay, I just want to clarify. Shortcut lang. Okay. Sige, shortcut to session mode ba ito? Okay, sige. Okay, so, pinili po nila, number 1, for competency, these are the power standards for them. For them po. Tama po bang maikli po talaga ang quarter 3, di ba po? Opo. So, skills po, instead of, ang sa kanila po, all the standards need to be addressed. And to address this, ito po yung 5 na competencies na kailangan ma-achieve. Okay. So there. Na-take note po ba nila yung competencies na pinili nila? Na-take note po ba nila? Hindi po. Ulitin po natin, sir. Tama po na number 1, number 3, number 2, and then skip number 3, and then number 4, and then number 5 is skipped. Okay, yung nakaskip na lang po. Ang wala po dapat ay number 3, number 6, number 5, sorry. Number 3 wala, 5, 7, and 8. Sila po yung dapat wala. So, X nyo lang po siya. X lang po. Pansamantala. Kung kailangan lang po talaga ni teacher mamili ng skills na dapat matutunan ng mga bata, ito po yung kailangan na meron sila para ma-achieve nyo yung performance standard ninyo. Opo. Sige, quarter 4. Yung ulit kakaib. May question po ba? Kay Sir Ronald. Okay, quarter 4. Kanina, may yes, ngayon, merong cheering. Ulit.
Magandang hapon po. Mag-iinis na po ng room, kaya alis na po kayo. Uwi na po. Maraming salamat po sa pagdalo. Okay, likewise with the music group 3 or third quarter, we pointed out only those power standards in the fourth quarter. Now, we consider these 3 learning competencies as power standards. Why? Because one, the first learning competency states, describes how an idea or story is communicated through fiction, musical, and theatrical forms. Definitely, in every musical or theatrical play, there is an idea being communicated or conveyed. So this is a power standard. This cannot be carried away. Okay, second, illustrates how the different elements of music contribute to creating dramatic action in Asian traditional musical and theatrical forms. So this talks about the elements. This is very significant. Lastly, create, improvise, appropriate sound, music, gesture, movements, and costume for a rendition of a chosen Asian traditional musical and theatrical forms. We still consider this third learning competency as part of the power standards is because you will be forfeiting your goals and objective of knowing those elements without having your transfer, isn't it? Plus, logic-wise, we are already in the fourth quarter since we were assigned to discuss or to deal with fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is the combination of first to third quarter. That's why lahat po ito mali-discuss. Thank you.
Talaga po napakagaling ng ating mga facilitators dito. Lahat po actually na-meet po natin yung requirements ng power standards. Okay? Now, at least maluwag po, masaya po ako kasi alam ko pagdating nyo sa inyong mga regions, alam nyo po paano explain yung power standards. Tama po? Yes. Mayroon pa po bang katanungan tungkol sa power standards? Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is in relation to the second quarter. Second quarter yung Korea. Quarter to Korea. Because ito sa akin lang yun naman po ito. Personal opinion. If I were to choose Japan, Chinese, and Korean music, I would have to choose Japanese and Chinese. Why? Because these are two countries which have great influences on our culture, in our culture and on our music as Filipinos. The Korean music siguro, nagkaroon ng impact sa modern pop culture of music. But historically and culturally, I don't know. No, sa akin, kasi sa pagpili ko kasi ng power standards, di ba, meron tayong criteria. When identifying the power standards, meron ba itong, is it really necessary? Kailangan siya? Talaga bang kailangan? Is it enduring? Is it enduring? Meron ba siyang element of endurance? Even long after the grade 8 students have left school, nagkaasawa, nagkatrabaho, umabroad, lahat nangyari sa buhay nila, mananatili ba yan sa isipan nila? Naka-anchor ba dyan sa isip at puso nila? Diba? At may influence ba ito sa buhay nila? These are three, Yun, criteria sa pagpili ng power standards, identify ng power standards. Kaya yun, I think that, ma'am, that's my lang. That's your personal opinion. Thank you.
Yes po. Ma'am Susan.
Hindi na pa po may nagtatanong po ni Peter. Can we just be clarified with ito kanina pa tayo. What's the difference between content standard and performance standard as well as content, power standard? Diba po? Kasi kanina pa tayo nagka-standard, baka electric pa niya.
Iba-iba po kasing term, no? Okay. Okay. Bago ko po sagutin yan, sagutin ko lang po yan. I-process lang po natin yung comment po ni Sir kanina doon sa Korea. Bakit Korea? Okay. So, for me, ang nakikita ko po ay kung pipili po tayo ng power standards, again, yung power standards po natin, hindi po ito hindi lang po ito basta nandito. Meaning, these are the must-teach. Maaari po itong magbago, depende po sa pangangailangan ni teacher. So, kung topic po yung pag-uusapan, kung nakikita po ng teacher na mas gagamitin ng mga bata itong mga pinili yung standards, ito po yung pipiliin niya. Okay? Pwede pong ganon. Okay? Tapos po, yung difference naman po, yung power, content, performance. Okay? Content standards mean that these are the standards of what your topics are. Okay? Yung topic nyo mismo. Performance standards, ano po ba yung matatransfer? Yung maipapakita ng bata sa klase ninyo after the end of the whole quarter. Paano niya ipapakita lahat ng natutunan niya? Ang performance po sa music, hindi lang po siya, I just want to clarify, hindi po siya laging kumakanta, sumasayaw, o nagpe-play ng instruments. Maaari din pong magaling siyang mag-report. Opo, hindi po, kasi po, ang nangyayari po minsan, may mga bata po, alam nila, naiintindihan nila lahat ng diniscuss ni teacher na tungkol dun sa countries na kanilang inaaral for that quarter, kaya lang, hindi siya marunong kumanta. Sintonado talaga siya. Or, hindi talaga siya makasunod sa rhythm. Kasi talagang sa tenga, may problema. Ganon. Paano naman kung magaling pala siyang mag-explain? Magaling siyang mag-report? Hindi ba po performance din yun? So yun po. Ganon po yung ating performance standards. Paano ba ipapakita ng bata yung kanyang kaalaman sa buong quarter? Yun po. Yun po yung performance standards. Klaro na po ba tayo? Ulitin po, content is about the topics, the standards on the topics. Kaya po siya demonstrates this and that. Southeast Asian music demonstrates or explains, ganyan po. Pero po, ang performance standards is paano ipapakita ng mga bata, yung kanilang natutunan. Okay na po? Yung power standards po, these are the must teach. We are only identifying alin po ba dun sa ating curriculum yung kailangan ng mga batang matutunan. Yung either kailangan ituro ni teacher at kailangan nilang ma-absorb. Yun po. Yun po ang power standards. Kaya po siya hindi nakalagay sa curriculum guide kasi pwede po itong magbago depending on your learners. Opo, pwede po siyang magbago because of your time element, Opo, kaya po natin i-identify kasi po, kailangan alam niyo na kahit anong mangyari, ito ang kailangan matutunan ng mga estudyante ko. Tama po? Malinaw na po ba yun sa ating lahat? Okay. So, maaga pa po. Okay, it's 5:15. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Yung po sa sinabi ninyo, ma'am, tungkol doon sa yung consideration sa pagre-report ng estudyante sa topic, kung ano mang topic ang na-assign sa kanya. Medyo may apprehension po, ma'am, ako. Kasi po, doon sa mga learning competencies natin, wala namang nasabi doon na ang may bata would be able to report a particular topic or explain a particular topic. Kasi ma'am, doon sa music kasi, I do not know kung marirecall ko, meron tayong mga skills that at least man lang 2 of the skills areas na dapat present in our music education class. So meron tayong listening, clapping, singing, moving, creating, lahat ng ING. Okay. Meron lang akong konting apprehension doon kasi pag sinabi natin itong yung mga bata magre-report sila sa which we can consider it as one of their performance assessment, baka pag dinala natin ito sa ating rollout seminar, yung mga non-majors natin ng mga teacher would depend largely on reporting na lang, na wala nang na-develop na musical skill sa estudyante natin. Yun lang mga apprehension ko. Although, okay naman yung reporting, but when we go back to our station, when we do the rollout, when we emphasize na pwede ang reporting, pero baka maabuso lang siya. Yan, ma'am.
Okay, actually po, yung explaining nasa competencies po. Opo, nandun po yung explains, characteristics of the different Southeast or East or Central Asia. Okay, nandun po siya. Now, with regards to the reporting, meron po kasi, tama po yun, meron kailangan po may musical skills pa rin. Maaari din po, ipapa-analyze po natin sa mga bata yung musical forms. Like, for example, ano bang form? Meron siya AAA, AB, ABA. Pwede pong ganon. Hindi po actually lahat ng bata kaya yun eh. Meron pong batang magaling sa ganon. Pero hindi lang niya kayang kantahin. Meron pong ganon. Pwede nyo rin pong ilagay din as part of their reporting. Hindi lang po pwede po silang gumawa ng musical video. Maaari pong in a group, meron po silang sa kanila magpo-perform, meron po mga taga-video, meron pong taga-edit, may taga-explain kung ano po yung pina-perform nila. Maaari pong gano'n. Marami pong paraan actually. It has to come from a very wide creativity or very wide imagination of the teacher. Kung paano mo matatap itong lahat ng intelligences ng mga bata. Kasi nga po, hindi po lahat ng bata ay may pare-parehong intelihente or intelligence. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, yung sinasabi niyo po, i-discuss po natin sa 4th day.
Kaya lang po, baka po ma-perplex din ang lahat. Kasi, on the levels of assessment, we have the 4 levels of assessment. We have first the, nawala tuloy ako. The knowledge, which is 15% knowledge, process and skills, and then we have the understanding, and then the performance. Now, we are talking of the performance. Na dapat the bata or the student will be able to reach the performance level. Now, if that student would only reach the analysis, the explaining, and the reporting, they only reach the 30%, lack pa siya ng performance, which is the 30%. Kasi
Ang naabot lang po niya is the level of the process and the understanding. Hindi po siya nakaabot dun sa performance.
Actually po, i-explain po siya sa assessment, pero binring up niya na po ngayon. Okay. Actually po, kung titingnan niyo po, kung sa analysis po, it will really depend on ano po ba yung activity na gusto niyo ipagawa sa mga bata. At the end po, yun po yung performance niyo na how many percent, ma'am? Yung sabi niyo, 30, di ba? So may lack po kasi siyang 30%. Para po ma-achieve niya ito, ano po ba yung pwede niya ma-contribute? Kasi po ang nangyayari, may mga bata po talagang hindi kayang i-perform yun. Ibabagsak niyo po ba dahil hindi nila kaya? Samantalang, they've been there from the start of the lessons until the end. Paano po kung wala po siyang absent? Meaning, meron po siya natutunan. Hindi lang po natin matap kung paano niya ilalabas yun. Hindi po ba? Marami pong paraan para ilabas yung alam niyang yun. Hindi lang po siya sa pag-perform sa harap. Dito sa harap. Opo. Marami pong paraan para po matap yung kanilang intelligences. Opo.
Kasi po may question po ma'am kayo na, paano gagawin niya sa hindi nakapag-perform? O kaya, nakapag-perform na siya, pero hindi na niya na-achieve yung, standard na hinahanap mo. Pero, ang paliwanag po sa amin, wala po talagang babagsak na bata. As long as they are able to present kung ano man yung kayang na-present niya, mayroon pa rin siyang 1. Or depende sa rubric mo. Okay po.
Okay, so it will really depend on the rubric. Pero ulitin ko po yung performance po ay pwedeng iba-ibang paraan. Yun po yung i-reiterate ko. Hindi po natin pwedeng ikahon yung bata na ito lang yung pwede mong gawin para bigyan kita ng grade. Okay? Kasi po, marami po talagang paraan para ipakita ng bata yung kanyang alam. Maaari po pagdating nyo sa labas, kausapin kayo ng bata, ma'am, alam ko po to, kukwento ko po sa inyo. Pwede ganun eh, marami pong paraan kung paano. Yun nga lang po, pag ikakakot po natin sa kanila na, pag hindi mo to nakanta, ito lang grade mo. Kinakahon po natin yung bata. Pag hindi mo natugtog to, ito lang. Sa arts po, ganun din. Pag hindi mo nagawa itong artwork, syempre medyo, paano yun? Wala siyang artwork. Tagilid, di ba? Paano yun? Kailangan may artwork sa pinakahuli. Ano po yung pwede niyang gawin para mapakita niya yung artwork na yun? Sa anong paraan po? So, kailangan po marami po tayong baong mga bala or activities para po dun sa mga bata. At saka, number 1 po, kanina po, in-explain natin, we have to identify our learners. Who are the learners? Ano po ba yung kakayanan nila? Hindi po ba? Kahit po na maaaring 8 lessons lang in a quarter yung ibang quarters natin, kailangan po kilala nyo yung mga bata. Kahit madami pa po sila sa classroom, alam nyo sino sa kanilang magaling kumanta, magaling mag-drawing, magaling mag-painting, magaling mag-explain, magaling sumayaw, meron po, dapat po alam nyo yan. Which is, magagawa natin through pre-assessment. Opo. Okay na po? Yes, sir.
Please, in connection with Sir statement na determining power standard ko, please clarify po kung saan ba talaga kami mag-base ng power standard. Yun ba sa topic, sa content? Or kailangan, pwede ba namin, can we adjust the content standard or content standard, or we only need to focus on the learning competencies and activity?
Very good question, sir. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Actually po, power standards are taken from the content and from the performance standards. Okay? Pero, para po ma-achieve natin yung performance standards, lalo na po sa ating music, isa lang po siya. Tama po? Isa lang po ang ating performance standards sa music. Para po ma-achieve yun, ano po yung competencies na dapat talagang malaman? Opo, yun po siya. Pero po, yung ang power standards po natin, yun lang pong nasa content and the performance. Yung must learn and must teach. Ulitin ko po, the must learn and the must teach. Opo. Yun po yung power standards natin. Any other questions po? Nasagot ko po ba? Nasagot ko po ba yung tanong? Yes po. Nasagot ko po ba? Okay po.
I-share ko lang yun, yung tungkol doon sa reporting. Kasi ang bata naman natin, masyadong creative yung mga yan. Na pag nag-report, kung talagang gusto niya na siya ay magkaroon ng isang performance na maganda, yung reporting niya, hindi siya basta nagtotok. Meron siya kunyari isang music, no? Paparinig niya, o kaya magagamit siya ng visual. Diba? At doon sa pagpapaliwanag niya, pag-report niya, kunyari, music of China, ito yung music of China, we understand that this is delivered in nasal, tapos naiintindihan niya kung anong ibig sabihin ng kanta, anong relation ng kanta doon sa report, doon sa kanyang doon sa culture ng China nung kanyang nire-report. And then, yung bang hindi, nandun na rin yung music, nandun yung visual, tapos nandun na rin yung analysis. So therefore, doon na lang, makikita din natin na, na intindihan niya, hindi lang face value, hindi lang yung tawag dito, sa surface lang ang alam niya, kundi meron siyang deeper understanding of what she is reporting. Hindi basta lip service. So, nandun yung creativity, may visual, may music, at saka yung critiquing na rin, at saka yung analysis ng kanyang pag-report. So, I think yun ay performance na talagang maganda at hindi natin basta masasabi na hindi siya performance, kumbaga, hindi siya pumapasok doon sa performance standard na hinihingi ng ating curriculum guide, diba? Ng ating curriculum, yung sa curriculum natin. So, yun po ang ibig natin sabihin na we can incorporate many things. Kung hindi kaya ng bata kumanta, talaga naman may mga hindi. Tapos kung hindi naman din niya kaya na she can deviate, she can improvise, para na sa ganon, kung talagang gusto niya na maging maganda yung grade niya, gagandahan din niya yung report na hindi parang isang level lang, kundi at a much higher level. Yun po.
Thank you po sa inyong additional idea. Okay. Na po ba? Yes, sir.
Hello. I've been raising my hands, but you know my hands are short now. So, tatlong bagsak. Clap na lang. Ready, go! Okay, tatlo. Kasi number one, we would like to thank the Bureau that they acknowledge na meron talagang panahon na we cannot cover all the topics. Diba? Yes. Okay. So, sa pangalawang palagpak, the standards that we are talking about, they are all contained here, as we can see, no? But we have already discussed this before, kasi yun nga, we can cover everything. So, etong content standard at saka performance standards, ito yung must be. No? Yung learning competencies, yun ay hinuhugot dito, and you can choose whatever your learning competency, but it must be within the content and the performance standards. Therefore, itong power standard na sinasabi ngayon, ito yung noon pa gusto ko nang sabihin ba, pero mahirap. Pero ito na, no? We are to choose one country or two countries na talagang naggawa natin from beginning up to transfer. Tama si Sir, dapat we must at least yung listening man lang or yung alam mo na gawin yung singing or performance, whatever it is, na cover doon sa ano natin yung conceptual framework kanina, na galing naman dito sa content standard, we must go through it. Now, again, for the last clap, for the group reporting, because I also do that. In my teaching years, especially the health, who among us have covered everything in health? Be honest. Very good si ma'am, no? Sa akin, if I will teach it, I cannot cover. So what I did was, meron akong strategy na nakita in one of the conferences that I've attended. I believe it was gallery walk, wherein merong, halimbawa, no? Lalo na sa December, kasi if you teach graduation songs, by January 14, second week, wala ka na sa classroom. Let us be honest with it, no? So that's why I really try to cover the main issues as early as the end of December. Para pass ng project na lang, kasi talagang kapos na ng oras. Let's be honest, no? Kasi itong power standards, it is the most honest thing that we have discussed so far. Now, we cannot cover everything. So, yung gallery walk, if you are familiar with it, merong topic, no? For one lesson, merong iba't ibang topic. Ang ginawa kong macro. So, for example, for the third quarter, if I think that I have only 5 meetings with the children in health, siguro mga dalawa, lalo na yung application sa yung mga first aid. I do not skip first aid. But the other topics there, ang ginagawa ko, gallery walk. So, yung lesson 3, lesson 4, lesson 5, lesson 6. Pero at least meron silang transfer doon sa ibang topics. So for example, in our issue today, for Unit 1, you have Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos. Can you cover them all from beginning to transfer? That's why the power standards would be, you choose 1 or 2 countries, covering them, probably 2 lessons for every country, so you have 4 days for 2 countries, then the rest of the days, parang yun ang reporting, or parang yung knowledge na lang, no? So, yun nga ang the dilemma of balancing time and coverage. Since we cannot cover everything, we might as well go to at least 2 countries na talagang hanggang transfer na tatapos natin. Pero yung remaining countries na it is very unrealistic that we can cover, then we will do it on rather a different approach. So that will help us finish the topics if we really intend to cover the topics by as early as December or early January. So, since I know that the most important thing in our lives is 5:30, and 5:34 already. I love you all.
Thank you, sir, for reminding us the time. Okay. Actually po, yung must teach po and must learn, masasagot po ng ating modules. Kasi po, design po yan para sa 8 meetings lang. At kung kukulangin man yung 8 meetings, meron, yung mga activities po ay napaka-ikit. Opo. Kaya po talagang matapos. Yun nga lang po, kailangan po din, like we said, we have to be realistic. There are times talagang hindi kaya. So at least we have to identify, we have to teach our teachers that we need to have these power standards na para kahit anong mangyari, itong tuturo natin. Ito yung hahanapin natin sa mga bata. Okay? So malinaw po, no? Now, before I let you go, o diba kanta? Okay, before I let you go, okay. Yes, gusto ko lang pong i-clarify yung attendance po natin. Tomorrow morning, our attendance will be here, upstairs. Okay? Since our official time is at 8:30 pa pa. Kaya po pa, kasi hindi pa po kami nag-meeting sa baba. Ang meeting po namin mamaya pa po, para i-bring up natin yung concern kanina kung pwede po i-move ng earlier or pwedeng i-adjust yung lunch break. Yun po. So, but for now, our official time tomorrow is at 8:30. Attendance will only be until 9 a.m. For the